Hello everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. As we end marketing year and we start a brand new one, we kind of like to get an idea what the future holds for us, especially if we're in the business of agriculture trying to sell some products, and I am, both on the wheat and the cattle side. So the next several weeks we're going to talk a lot about what we expect to happen in 2013. We'll have some special guests on our program coming up in a few weeks. Stay tuned to that. And in fact, I want to talk a little bit about the wheat business because there's been a big meeting down in Houston recently where we got some interesting information. Stay tuned.
I first got started in the cattle business. My wife and my father-in-law got me into it. I love dealing with the animals and being in the outdoors. At American Ag Credit, I know a lot of them are in the same business that I am. You know, therefore they understand what I need and what problems I'm against, so they can work with you on it, and it makes it much easier.
It's been passed down to me through the generations, and I want to pass it on down to the next generation or two.
Announcing the service and maintenance event going on now at Straub International, your genuine Case IH parts dealer. Receive from 5 to 10% parts and labor discounts with any inspection. Schedule a tractor inspection for just $315 or a combine inspection for $400. Inspections available for all major pieces of farm machinery. Plus, for a limited time, get half off hauling. Straub International now features the Case IH 330 Turbo Robo Sharpener system to bring your turbo blades back to like new condition. Visit any of our 7 locations for the Straub International service and maintenance event going on now.
Well, friends, the U.S. Wheat Associates and the National Association of Wheat Growers had their annual fall board meeting in Houston just a week or 2 or 3 ago, and some interesting information came out of that. I always like to pick up on stuff that might make us some money in the marketing business of our agricultural scenes. And I got to tell you, our marketing programs in agriculture are probably one of the worst in the world for products, in my opinion. We have to take what they give. Very seldom do we get what we want, and we can't ask much more than what they say they're going to give. So with that in mind, we've had to force some people, or other factors are forcing people to pay up more for grain and livestock than they have in the history of this country. Will that continue? Let's talk about wheat because of this meeting that was there. I found it interesting that Vince Peterson, who's Vice President of Overseas Operations for the Wheat Associates and who works with one country after another, spoke at that meeting, was pretty optimistic. Even though, friends, even though our exports up to this point in the marketing year for wheat, very disappointing. That's got some people, especially on the Board of Trade, got up depressing prices a little bit. Every time they talk about that, they try to use that as a crutch to keep the prices a little bit lower. He's not too concerned about it. And let me tell you why. And they're very good points and very true factors. They're not just something floating out in the space. For example, he says a lot of opportunities in the balance of this marketing year because of things like the Ukraine and Russia. They've got a problem. They have had a problem. We've talked a lot about that. I think personally, and I've been there 5 or 6 times, I know how the Russians operate. I believe that they have an embargo, so to speak, on right now. And they definitely were supposed to cut back relationships with some of their exporting business customers starting November the 15th. I can assure you they will not be exporting the kind of wheat that they have in the past because of their terrible crop conditions. The same thing is going to go for Australia. They've had some terrible weather there. Their crop conditions, they're harvesting right now, is going to be down considerably. And then we go to Brazil. It looks like there could be opportunity for us to export wheat to Brazil. You say, how can that be? They get all their wheat from Argentina. Argentina had a problem. I don't think they're going to have enough. So as we look around the world and then factor into the mess we've got here in the United States, my wheat ground, we got 8500s on my old wheat crop just a week or so ago, which was a lifesaver. It was turning gray and all kinds of colors, wanting some moisture. It got a little bit of a drink, but we're 6 to 8 inches below normal across a good part of the winter wheat belt. If this doesn't change with a 2 or 3 foot snow pile, we've got ourselves a problem come springtime when it's supposed to green up. With all that in mind, I and he agree that this whole wheat crop, when wheat price, I should say, is in pretty good hands as we go into 2013. He points to several other items that are kind of interesting. Exports to Mexico, Nigeria, Philippines, and Japan, they're way ahead of normal. There is a problem, though, that he sees for himself and the U.S. Wheat Associates. They're funded largely by farmers' checkoff programs, and those funds are matched by the federal government. Well, guess what? That's all mandated in the Farm Bill that we don't have anymore. Will it be in the new one? Or what's going to happen there has got the folks on the U.S. Wheat Associates a little bit on the nervous side. I can understand that. But in any event, the outlook for 2013, according to Mr. Peterson, and I agree with him 100%, looks pretty good at this hour. Things could change. By the way, speaking of Brazil, their delay in deliveries, they've got so much business at their port this year for soybeans and corn that they can't handle it. Normally, 2.5 million metric tons is the most they should ship. That's supposedly all they can. They're up to 3.6. And guess what? A lot of people are upset. They're coming to the United States buying because their backlog so far, they need corn quicker than what they can get it from them. Come on, the U.S. is ready for you. See you on the next Steckline Report.